Pass this down to anyone else who needs it.
Did you need a copy of Jimmy's email?
No.
Okay.
Well, let's move to order. Well, let's move to order. This is the regular town board meeting in the town of East Wright, September 9th, 2024. It's 6:30 p.m. Roll call, Clarkowski here.
Leonard here.
Ray is here.
Church here.
John are here.
Pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Kim, are all of our postings in order for tonight's meeting?
Yes, they are.
Approval on the agenda. There was one addition to the agenda at 10:30 this morning under the Plan Commission, number 3. And that's the rezone request CSM Simota Road. Anybody have any comments or anything on the agenda? Otherwise, we can't add anything else. Otherwise, a motion to approve the agenda is posted.
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Tyson, second. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? None, motion carries. All right, meeting minutes. The first one in the packet was the planning commission from June 5th. And I only seen one spelling deal I think should be corrected. It's on the second page, number 4, the first paragraph near the bottom where it says DNR and Army Corps. Corps of Engineers is spelled CORPS, not CORE. I believe that's the only place it's listed in that set of minutes. That's the only thing I see on June 5th Plan Commission. Anyone else?
Yeah, I have a change. On page 1, under the second paragraph that begins with Ian Wolf, about 6 lines down, should be step 1 at a time.
Taking one step instead of each.
One step at a time.
Taking them each step at a time.
Yeah, should be 1 step at a time.
Okay. Anyone else?
In,
And I have one more, under number 3, line number 4, under the text. Sales and service of trucks, period, then county zoning requested amendment.
Period instead of comma.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
I just had a question in the second paragraph, well, actually the first paragraph after the attendees. Chairman Cook explained the procedure of the proposal, or is it of the commission?
Explain procedure.
Procedure of the proposal is confusing to me, unclear. Procedure of the commission or the process or?
Commission, I think.
Yeah, I would say at the commission.
Okay. And then in number 2, the conditional use, the last full line of the first paragraph, it says appear to post no negative impact. I believe that should be appear to pose no negative impact.
Post no negative impact. Pose no.
Yes, that's my correction.
POSE. Okay.
That's all I have.
Anyone else, Joe, Ty? No? Okay, motion to approve as amended.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Town of East Troy Planning Commission meeting minutes for June 5th, 2024 as amended.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Michelle, second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carries. Next one is the special board meeting of August 19th. I didn't make any marks on that. Anybody have any comments?
No.
None?
I have
Joe?
no marks.
All right.
Make a motion, we approve the special meeting, the town board minutes from the special meeting on August 19th as presented.
Second.
Okay, second discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. Next one is the regular board meeting from August 19th. I had just one comment on page 5 under Lake Beulah Management District report. I think the no report after Greg Thomas was probably carryover from previous month because obviously the report is right below it. So strike no report. Anyone else?
Yeah, I have one.
Bart, Turkey.
On the regular meeting minutes, page 2, going down public comments to the 6th bullet point. The first name should be Jennifer, Jennifer Casca.
Jennifer.
That was my only correction, I think.
Anyone else? No, Ty? Okay, if not, need a motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes from August 19th.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Town of East Troy board meeting minutes from Monday, August 19th as amended.
Second.
Tyson, second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. All right, I believe that's all the minutes. All right, treasurer's report. Mr. Buchanan.
Treasurer's report for August 2024. Total receipts were $26,437.54. Transfers were $411,803. Interest earned was $374.95. Balance as of July 31st was $12,709.51. Total funds for August were $451,325. Checks paid were $441,546.46, leaving a balance of $9,778.54.
Okay, any questions on the treasury report? Otherwise, a motion to approve.
Could I ask a question?
Sure.
Historically, how does our boat launch compare to previous years?
It's about the same as last year.
Okay.
We've had a couple of good years in a row.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, thank you.
And do you typically see any more activity at this time of year?
it starts to taper off with the cooler weather. But because we've had such hot, it's been still busy. So,
I'd say as long as the weather holds, it'll.
Yeah. people come out.
Daily. I'll make an motion that we approve the treasurer's report as presented.
Second.
So, Church, second. Discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries. All right, Kim, anything to highlight on your report, or does the board have any questions from Kim's report for August?
Kim, our primary votes, we got about a quarter of 43%.
No, we had 43%.
43%. How does that compare to other primaries? Was that high, low, average?
For an August primary,
Yeah.
partisan primary, it's about standard.
Okay,
So, I mean, the previous primary in February, we had one voter who came at 7, and we sat there till 8:00 at night.
thanks for working. Thank you to all the election people too.
That was the one that just had one school district that was.
Yeah, it was
impacted, right?
Burlington School District, so, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was like a handful.
yeah, there's like 12 or 13, so.
Okay, any other questions on the
Did
report?
we have computer issues that were at 115% of budget? Or was it just the transition to .gov or? And this was as of July, so just over half of the year, we're already at
Yeah.
115.
There was some police stuff in there that we've had, and
Oh,
with
when they-
cameras and stuff.
Internet connections and stuff?
Yeah,
or-
yeah.
That goes in there?
extra 2,000 that you're referring to.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
No.
Thank you, Kim. All right. Public comments. Advise the 4-minute time period is still in effect, and Gene will be timing and giving a warning at what, 3.5?
Well, I don't wanna like butt into somebody, but I try to do it at about 3 minutes. But give or take 10 seconds.
Okay,
And then
public
we
comments.
will approach the podium.
Come up to the podium, name and address, and then you can speak. Public comments, anyone?
Just being cautious, not you. Jennifer Torsch, 9174 Humphrey Lane. I oppose the request by West Rod Industries to rezone a sensitive area of Lake Beulah to a C2 designation for the following reasons. One, the area being proposed is of critical importance to the environmental health and preservation of this sensitive habitat. In addition, increased activity in this area by marina traffic will disrupt the precious ecology of this lake. Two, it is also crucial to prevent areas which surround sensitive habitats that are not designated, but they surround the sensitive habitats from causing irreparable damage. Activities which would negatively impact this sensitive area include development, such as buildings, grading, parking lots, runoff from nearby areas, and improper use. 3, the site is included in the Pickerel Lake Fen in the Sewer Pack and Walworth County Natural Areas Plans and designated as a natural area of statewide importance. Rezoning this sensitive habitat would have long-lasting consequences for Lake Beulah and the state of Wisconsin. Thank you.
Thank you.
Could you spell your last name for me, please?
Torsch, THORSCH.
Thank you.
Okay, public comments. John? No?
Hi, Pat Bergen, W1950 Pastime Lane. I'm here as chair of the Lake Beulah Management District. I submitted a letter earlier today, and I apologize for the tardiness in my letter. I thought this would be put on for next month. So I think you'll find the letter is pretty quick. I want to make 4 points. As Dr. George just discussed, this is a very sensitive area of the lake that's basically undisputed by the applicant. I think more to the point, this property fits exactly the definition of C4 property I've laid out in my letter, the definition of C4 in the zoning ordinance, and it doesn't fit the definition of C2 property, nor has the applicant identified any rationale as to how it would fit within C2 property. That is, how it would serve to protect, preserve, protect, enhance, or restore that property. Fourth, the zoning code lays out a specific test, and West Rod hasn't met its burden under that test to rezone. As we've identified, both Mr. Nada has testified and Dr. Thorsch have testified that further development of the area is going to reduce the ability of the area to filter sediments flowing in from Pickerel Lake. The development would cause shoreline erosion, and the proposed rezone would have an adverse impact on fish and other wildlife habitat. I think at our last meeting, Mr. Stoss presented a picture and made the claim that his ability to have boats, 10 boats on the property was grandfathered. And I think that's, even if that photo is actually authentic, that's not a correct statement of the law. So Mr. Stoss has got to be referring to Wisconsin statute section 3012. which states that a pier that is placed on the bed of a navigable waterway before April 17, 2012 is exempt from permit requirements. The law grandfathers piers. It doesn't have anything whatsoever to do with boats. Finally, I was really impressed by the planning commission. I thought that they gave Mr. Stas and the public an ample amount of time. And I really liked what the chairman, Joel Cook of the planning commission said. And he said, there's nothing submitted, and I put this in my letter, there's nothing submitted on behalf of West Drive that contradicted the serious environmental concerns set forth by the letters opposed to the request or public comments of residents and experts. Well, while the public comments and letters in favor of the request documented applicants longstanding in the town of East Troy, as a resident and business owner, it did not in any way sway the need to conserve C4 property, as we are the custodians to do so. It would be irresponsible for us to lessen the conservation in this area without any compelling reasons. We denied this in 2013, and I don't see any reason not to deny it now. On behalf of the management district, I would ask you to deny the petition.
Thank you.
I'm Tom Bannon Bogart. I'm the president of the Lake Beulah Protective and Improvement Association, W2035 Beulah Heights Road. I'm a member of Camp Charles Alice. So I agree with everything that has been said thus far. One point that I think is extremely crucial is in my conversations with the DNR, there has never been a case where land has been rezoned from a sensitive area to something other than that. This would be setting precedents statewide for the first time doing such. And I think that alone speaks volumes in addition to everything else that has been said thus far.
Thank you. John? Joe.
Ready? You need my address?
Is it 8031? Yeah.
Okay, I would like to give a compliment to the Towns Police Department. I think they're doing an exceptional job, and I would ask the board if they could consider putting some more money in their budget so that the money that we lost from the DNR grant money, they used to get the funding to patrol the lake, is reestablished. And I would ask that they're taken into consideration. Maybe we could have our town officers who do an exemplary job, maybe we could have them do the boats like it was under Police Chief Surgis. We didn't have pockets or holes in coverage, and the cops that patrol our streets know the people in the area, and I think that would be a win for the community. I'd like to go over a few things regarding the rezone and conditional use. We're not asking to take anything out of C4. Whatever is in C4 based off the wetland delineation, that's going to stay C4. You don't want to disrupt C4. Basically, we're going to take from the wetland delineation line north, which has been proven to be upland. It was wetland delineated twice, and that's the area that's going to be rezoned. I gave 6 examples of lots in the town of East Troy that have less than 5 acres that are currently zoned C2, some as small of 0.317 acres, which is less than the size of my property. Currently, the yacht club's got 3 different zoning classifications on it. It's got B3, it's got wetlands, and it's got a park district. So there is split zoning available in the town of East Troy, and that would be something you should probably want to consider. All right, touching base on the DNR and what you had as far as piers, wharfs, and boat slips, moorings on your property in 2011 are all grandfathered. Now, I brought this up already, but this is right off of the DNR's website, and it states right on the DNR's website, piers placed before April 17, 2012 are able to keep existing boat slip usage. So your piers and your boat slips that you've had there are grandfathered in. So I hope we can get that on the record.
Minute 10.
How much?
Minute 10.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to give a number out. The number is 24-62-84, 24-6284. Okay, what activities that occurred at the last town board meeting during public comments was very inappropriate. I'm not going to rehash it. You can watch the video in regards to a board member recusing themselves on a vote. Currently, the Walworth County Sheriff's Department started an investigation against Chairman Joe Klarkowski and has since been escalated to the Walworth County District Attorney's Office. The complaint number is the one I gave you earlier, 24-6284. If anyone should recuse themselves from a vote on anything that involves Carla Georgie or myself, it should be Chairman Klarkowski.
Well, first of all, there's no complaint. I don't know what he's talking about. More fiction. I'm gonna leave it at that.
And there are pictures here, if anyone wants to see.
Public comments. And Carla, you've been warned before, speak to us. Don't talk to the audience.
Okay, no
Keep
problem,
respectful.
no problem.
Okay.
I'm always respectful. I just want to, again, reiterate, we have all these experts coming up and discussing how sensitive an area that is around Fred's Tap. We've been there for 20 years. The 10 boats have been there for at least 17 years, at least. They keep telling on what destruction there's going to be. I'd like to see some documentation on what has occurred in the past 20 years that those boats have been in that area. I want to see if there was any damage done. All they keep doing is speculating about how there's going to be damage. We are not increasing anything. We're not building anything. We're simply asking to either have 10 personal boats there or 8 business boats and 2 personal with parking. So there's not going to be this huge growth going on there. Yes, I do have a complaint, and I don't know why Chairman Klarkowski does not realize that there's a complaint, because I'm sure the Walworth County Sheriffs had called you when it initially happened. So there is a documentation of the court case, and again, I'm asking you, I can't see how you can't be prejudiced with what occurred in January between you and I. So I am asking you to recuse yourself, and that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Public comments. Mr. Becker.
John Becker, W 1958, Pastime Lane, East Troy. We're talking about the rezone from C4 to C2. That's the request, all the property. Beyond that, there are some activities that have taken place that I think everyone should be aware of. That is, in 2012, the people there, only the owners of the property, John Stas, was cited for operating a marina by the county. John then appealed this situation, and in, I believe it was 2014, there was a court hearing, and the court decided that indeed the appeal would not go through and that the fine would stay. In other words, the county said no marina at that location, and that holds today, no marina. In addition to that, John carved out an area adjacent to Stringer's Bridge Road and was cited for that, ended up negotiating with the county and the town to remediate that. And what the county said, you can leave it, but you're only allowed 1 personal vehicle in that whole section. That holds true today. One. So I think that's the background, which is very important. Both those things are very important, and they negate the movement from C4 to C2. Of course, we've heard it's a sensitive area, and John mentioned that it's a sensitive area, but he only takes a small portion of it. Well, when you're in a sensitive area, you're responsible for the whole area. In other words, everyone is responsible for that sensitive area. If you left some people out, it would be a mess. And the fact that it's less than 1%, I'm not sure how that's measured, but it's still, you still have to look out for the sensitive area. Again, we've heard many times, C2 does require 5 acres. It's in the county code. There have been some exceptions, but they've been very rare, and they're usually because the situation wouldn't allow anything else. But if you have something else, and this would be C4, would not be a problem. This has come before the Planning Commission now, 4 separate meetings. And quite frankly, the people are getting tired of coming every time with new information that I think, as Joel Cook said, it's not relevant. And I think it's important to recognize that people want the best for the community, and they keep on coming to these meetings, but they're wearing down because it happens so often. 4 times the Planning Commission has met and keep on turning it down with saying that the information that they received is not new and is not relevant. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Public comments? Mr. Vaughn?
And 8634 Stringers Bridge Road. Kind of like the town to look into Walworth County zoning enforcement of the zoning code. At the Planning Commission meeting, Joel mentioned that Darren said there was a mistake that should have been zone 2, not 4.
He never said that. I never said that. I said that he said it's not zoned correctly. It was a
It's
mapping.
not zoned correct.
Yeah, Darren would never say what it should be designated. He'd say
Okay.
it could be a possibility for. So
Here is the
Barney's got the floor.
Here is the problem. It's been C4 for the last 20 years. What's been going on there should have been cited by the county zoning. Parking at buses, trucks, cars, boats, construction equipment, bobcats, cherry pickers, barges pulled up on the shore. County, why didn't they cite for this stuff? It's C4. Can't the town board look into why there was no enforcement for the last 20 years? Instead of just changing it to C2? This is ridiculous that nobody wants to enforce the rules and regulations from county. I was a county zoning inspector from about the middle 80s, 70s to 80s. My job was to enforce the laws. If there was a violation, write it up. Why has nothing been written up? I've complained to county many times. Darren's got my phone calls. They're all on record there. How many on this stuff? I've sat down and talked to him about it. I even called him and asked for inspection of it. And he said he can't do it, so they would have somebody do an inspection. He says, well, when would you like it? I says, I gave him the times approximately on weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. He got back to me and says, there was nobody there. There was nothing going on. No boats were out. No people were there. All 4 times. How? The only person that knew about it was me and Darren. I didn't tell a soul. I'd like the town to look into county zoning commission there. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a minute left, correct?
Nope.
I don't, I was out of time.
Well,
How much time did you have?
I didn't keep track of it because we had talked about.
One and done.
Really
We
quick,
have 4 minutes. Do we-
No.
really
1 minute.
quick, a minute. Mr. Bong is incorrect. We can have personal property on that property. Just because it's zone C4 doesn't mean you can't use your property. So everything, if all that was there, which it isn't because it's very sporadic, is personal property. So that's why, Mr. Bong, we did not get any tickets, all right? And the county has been doing their due diligence with that property. So your drone and all your pictures that you keep continually taking over Fred's Tap, I hope you stop because we are not doing anything illegal there.
Thank you. All right. I think we've had enough back and forth here. Any other public comments? All right. Okay. Our person's report. It's in the packet. I do want to read one thing I did get from, I got a thank you card from the Lakeville Yacht Club. It was addressed to me and the town board, so I figured I'd read it to the town board. Thank you for your part in helping us successfully hold our youth Lakeville Yacht Club WY14 Boat Regatta, July 1921. The added area provided for trailers helped us run and organize 46 boat event for up and coming sailors from the yacht club. Carla Kent, co-chair. So that was a thank you with that team right there. On my activity report, they listed the meetings. There's one thing that happened since then. We had a report on Miller Road of construction equipment, heavy equipment, crawler type equipment going down Miller Road and then up Stone School Road back to Highway 20 to get around the bridge out. I don't know how that could be. I went and looked, and Todd, you went and looked also? I didn't see a trace of that, so I spent some time going back and forth and getting out. I didn't see anything, so I'll follow up with the person that called. So any questions on my report? It's in the packet. All right. Supervisor activity report, Supervisor Church.
I have nothing else to add.
Okay. The report is in the packet. Media IT report is also in the packet. I guess just the general numbers on the website, 386 subscribers, YouTube, 63 live streams, and Facebook, 1,269 followers.
So for a couple of months, we've had these budget items to consider while future planning. Do we have any values that we would consider, or can we ask Jen for that for our budget meeting?
I think budget time is when we should discuss it, and I think Jen would, additional information from her would be helpful for us to consider. So I will talk to her on that.
What her suggested budget
Yes.
would be based on research?
Yes, because actually, last year we were a little short because of, I believe it was postage mostly, right?
Postage is insane, yes.
Yes.
Printing.
And printing. And, we could have amended that. We decided not to. I think when we do our budget this year, we should have a appropriate number of newsletters to make sure that we get out the entire message that we want. So I think budget time would be the time to do that. So, okay. Anything else on public relations? Right, Public Works, Superintendent Shield.
Hey, did everybody see my little report? Hasn't been a long time. Any questions?
Thanks for the boat launch improvements.
Give us a little update on where our road projects are Where they're at right
Our
now.
summer road projects just started today. Finally. We started on Honey Creek Road. They milled and undercut where they needed to. Moving over to Army Lake tomorrow. Then Wednesday, Wolfway and Beulah Meadows. We had a little issue with a homeowner at the end of South Shore. We resolved that. Just with some grading, additional billing. And then they're hoping to have everything paid by the end of the week, except South Shore, which is gonna be the first week of October, I believe.
So Honey Creek Road will only be today and tomorrow, or?
No, they milled it all today. They got to do some base patching. They're hoping to get to it tomorrow, but probably Wednesday. And then final pave on Thursday, and then shouldering sometime after that.
The only challenge is with 20, that's an alternate
Yep.
route.
Yep.
So-
And one thing with Honey Creek Road, which is gonna be nice, Thursday when they're paving it in a one pass. No seam down the middle to break apart.
Oh.
Which will be really nice. The Wolf has a big enough paver now to do it. So I'm like, yeah, go ahead.
Honey Creek Road from
Oh,
the
Honey Creek, yeah,
village, up to
Hams
Hams
Road,
Road,
Hams
right?
Road,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you can't, like personally from my house, I can't take 20 into town.
Yeah.
So we go up to Miller Road, which turns into Honey Creek as the alternate path. And found out that was closed.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
we don't have much control over their
Right.
scheduling.
Yeah.
We kind of held off a long time on that, waiting to see if we got
Hoping
anything from
20
the
would have been further.
agricultural grant, which we didn't
Right.
get, so. And that we're gonna redo by the end of the month.
Yes.
So it's for the week. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes.
To be recognized.
Please.
Would you provide an update to the board regarding the response received to the letter that was sent by me on road damage last
Yep.
month?
Surprisingly, very responsive. Kim's already gotten 2 payments. I've talked to the other 2 homeowners today. They're both more than willing, and I discussed, one of the homeowners is he's gonna pay for a little bit more road work in front of his house. So
Thank you.
that's, 30 some $1,000 that we'll be getting back from them. None of them had a problem because they all knew it was coming. They all knew they did damage it when I talked to them, so. I think we had a payment back within days after they got one of the letters.
Okay.
So,
Nice.
All right.
put in, because I just finally got the bids for the town hall garage. There's 2 different ones from 2 different companies. One was $524.49, one was $5,049 for the garage floor. And I don't know with Kim what we had left in ARPA, if that was something we can use. And Joe said, yeah, probably was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have
But the
plenty.
Spartans will change significantly?
Yeah, because I just gave them the
There's no
size,
much
I just gave them the size of the garage, so they actually came out and measured the inside diameter garage. Because I just went, hey, I know when we built it, the garage was 28 by 36. It's actually 27 by 34. So the square footage changed.
So, the amount,
So this is wrong.
yeah, well, one of the amounts were, it was 6,500, but then, or 60,
6,500.
65.
65.52, and then a
Right.
family discount of 5.52. What is that?
I had that highlighted myself.
Yeah.
Is that because they did the previous work out in the front entrance, or?
Nope.
was?
It's, the daughter's fiance works for the company.
Oh, and they give you, well,
Yeah.
okay. So 6,000 is the estimate for that. and I
Well,
believe-
no, it was revised.
Yeah, once they actually got the square footage.
5,049.
Yeah.
Is the new.
That's the one.
But
that's
there
in
was
the
no
mailbox.
change in the
Yes.
date or anything of the quote.
So 5,049. And then $5,000 is then the,
5,049 is the new one. Once they actually did the correct square footage.
but then they took out the 49 again and made
In the
it
back, it
5,000
says
even,
5,000.
right?
Yep, they shaved off the
Oh,
40.
I didn't even notice it on the last page.
Yeah, the 5,000.
Yep.
And yes, we have plenty of money in ARPA, and I believe we noticed it that way, didn't we?
Yes.
Approve ARPA expenditure for police garage floor treatment. So, I think we should do it. So we.
Yeah, and a lot has to do with it because it's still new concrete. There's no cracks they gotta fix. Minimal prep
And,
compared to the little bit that we did on the front steps. That was like 4,500.
yeah, in addition.
3 times as much.
Yeah, in addition to the non-slip qualities, the other aspect is keeping the chlorides out of the concrete, because, you know, salt will eat concrete.
Yeah, you end up with spalling of concrete when it starts to pop and pit.
Yeah, so, you know, with the vehicles,
Yeah.
the vehicles coming in off the road, in there all the time, I mean, that's a big deal. So we actually were talking about this floor treatment for actually a couple of months here. And now the garage is complete. Now is the time to do it. And I think we should act on this and get this one done. So we need a motion to approve Spartan Coatings for $5,000 to do the floor treatment in the police garage and utilize ARPA funds for that cost.
I said with ARPA.
Yes, with ARPA.
I'll make a motion that we approve the quote from Spartan Coatings for covering the floor garage of the police, the floor of the police garage for a total of $5,000, $2,500 down payment to be made.
Using ARPA funds.
Using ARPA funds.
I'll second.
All right, Kai, second motion, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm gonna recuse
None.
myself.
Oh, you're gonna recuse?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so 4-0. Michelle recused. Okay. All right, you had another,
Yep, I'm trying to find somebody to fix them bridge end walls on them old field stone. The one gentleman I had talked to from Dynamic Contracting that gave us a price a couple years ago of 18,000. I haven't heard back from him. I met with Matt from Mud Tech out there because trying to find somebody to do with this it's like a specialty thing, especially working over the water. I've talked with Craig Webster from the DNR for need permits and whatnot. So talking with Matt, I don't think it's an emergency anymore. I think we can put it in as a budget item now for next year. And
This is quite a.
yeah, it's there's a 10,000 gap in there because once they start in there,
Right.
just like road work, once
Yeah.
you start picking away at that,
Right.
it starts falling apart. And that's another thing is trying to make sure that nothing falls in the water.
so you're thinking that we can wait on this?
Yeah, and then I met with Craig Webster out there, and we talked about a couple different things with Shotcrete and trying to seal it up once it is fixed, so water doesn't get in everywhere. It just what the freeze thaw cycle is what's doing it, and that's got it. We're 80 to 100 years old, I think, probably most of them.
Yeah, and through the Towns Association, the 6 to 20-foot culvert program is continuing on its way. If you got your newsletter recently, they gave you an update. They'll be starting the inspections on it.
In December.
No cost to us on all of it. We have 8 of those in our town.
Yep.
And this is one of them. The one on Buell Heights is probably the one that would be the first one out to shoot. But the other 2 major bridges we have, they're 100 years old. And 2 of them are stone laid up stone and mortar. So we've been doing some repairs on those.
Yeah, all 8 of them have had repairs done in the last 10 years, tuck pointed and rocks replaced. I mean, luckily there's a major one on Hill Valley when we had that flooding in 2016. When it was over, the water was over the road there. That didn't do more damage to that one.
There's some mighty fine stonework there, because if that thing would have went, that's when it would have went, right then. So.
Same with the one on Town Line when that came over the road there.
Yeah.
They held.
Yeah. Where Carver School did not hold.
Nope.
And that we got replaced. And that
When he
one-
says barge available, does that mean he's
No.
Assuming he can get
No.
it, or is he expecting us to get it?
No, I had contacted one of our part-time snowplow drivers. He used to have his own pier company. He'll let us use his barge.
Okay. So we are providing that.
Yep.
How does this, Troy compost site look? How is that gonna work?
Pretty good. I talked with Jason. He's just waiting on getting some kind of contract from their attorney.
So then you guys are gonna split the hours and everything?
Split the hours, yep. He wants it in the fall, open every weekend. I'm like, okay, we only do it every other, so your guys are gonna man it, the hours we're not. Town of Troy they're interested in it, but they're more for if we have a storm damage, not for all of them to bring their stuff out. But if that, so be it, if they wanna start having that, then it'll be a bigger discussion and having their employees also do it. And then in the fall, when we have the big vertical grinder out there, it's gonna have to be a cost share between all the three instead of just the two that it is now.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, which it still isn't bad. It's, they have them there for a couple hours, it's cheaper than us going out there every other weekend to chip it.
Gotcha.
By far.
Any other questions for Todd? Anyone? All right, thank you very much. Hold on to that sheet for the end of the day. All right. Police report, Chief Goretke. What happened to my police report? A lot of paper. This one?
I don't know what I did with it.
Oh, go ahead, don't wait for me.
All right, I just wanted to make sure you follow along.
I know I am.
So far through the end of August, we had 7,286 calls for service, still averaging 1.24 calls per hour. For the year, through the end of August, we had 808 citations issued. Last month was our highest number, 231 citations issued. And so far, 9 days into September, there's already been 47 citations issued. So our folks are keeping themselves busy. Earlier in the year, Lieutenant Runge came across a grant sponsored by We Energies and asked permission to write for the grant. It's in the amount of $2,000. He and I decided that purchasing a new AED to have an additional AED on hand would be the best use of that, to get a fourth AED. And so he wrote the grant, and We Energies awarded us that grant. And I went in and last week, I believe it was, and went to the West Dallas Fire Department, met with We Energies. So wanted to let you know that we were awarded a grant by We Energies, and we thank them for that. And they do that every year. So as items come up, we can apply for the grant. Doesn't guarantee us that we're going to win it, but it's a good idea to apply for it and get it out there. So.
Thanks for doing that.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions for me? Additionally, received an application for a part-time officer that I'd like to move forward with on that. Just giving you general information. I haven't conducted a background investigation, but it's a certified officer. He's local and known to the community. So I think it would be a great addition. And I know he wants to work part-time on the road and on the boat. So be another officer that we can count on to give us some hours, and somebody with 7 to 10 years of experience would be a nice addition too. And they're a trainer. They instruct in firearms and a couple other activities, which would relieve Lieutenant Runge of doing some of those duties.
Could you kind of verify that the change in plan with the DNR and reimbursement for the boat hours on the lake. They did not take away the funding, but they're not paying for the overtime anymore. Is that correct?
That is correct. They don't pay, DNR only pays straight wages for the boat. You must be a certified officer. I know some agencies like Delavan Township, where I used to work, you could use like community service officers or college students that wanted to get into law enforcement. They weren't certified. Unless they're certified, they don't qualify and they don't get reimbursement. So you have to be a certified police officer and you cannot pay overtime wages. So only base wages would be covered. So any of our full-time people that went out there and worked the boat, it would require us to pay, and it would be on the taxpayers of the town to cover those wages, and we would need to increase our budget for those purposes.
But we hired some part-time.
We have, yes, yep,
Focused on boat.
correct. Yep, Lieutenant Markley from the city of Delavan is one of our part-time officers. We also have Heath from the village of Walworth that is working for us on the boat. So, and giving us some part-time hours. So we were able to grab a couple people mid-year and put them to work.
All right. Any other questions for the chief?
What about,
Equipment update, did you kind of cover that or not?
That the equipment that I was talking about is the AED, the addition of the AED. So I was asked by We Energies not to speak about it until September 1st. So I may have been vague when I talked to Kim for the agenda, just because they made a request. They didn't want to announce it until September 1st. I think their event in Milwaukee was on the 30th. So they asked that we didn't say anything publicly. So.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
All right. ETAESD report. Supervisor Church.
My report is in the packet. I would like to extend a thank you to Lieutenant Jagelski and Supervisor Leonard for being a part of the East Troy Fire and Rescue Department open house this weekend. And we are, as I cited in the report, we are working on preparing our ambulance and personnel for a higher level of service. We are going to receive our medical direction from Aurora and NAPCO Health. So that will allow us to utilize our paramedics once equipment and training have been completed at a paramedic level, instead of requiring us to always use an intercept with departments such as McWanago or Elkhorn, who have certified paramedics and a higher level of service licensure.
Okay.
Any questions?
So you did a little forecasting in your report, but the
I
event
did.
was well attended.
It was.
I trust it was.
It was. Yes. I knew from the amount of calls that I got when we postponed the event
Yeah.
that there would be a plentiful turnout. So, and the 11 to 1 o'clock hours were very plentiful. Sort of slowed a little bit between 1 and 2:30, but gave our personnel a little chance to get something to drink, so that they could continue talking. While many of our personnel were also doing demonstrations. They had cooking demonstrations, how to put out a kitchen fire, how to escape a burning building if you're, caught in such. So, and then demonstrating the jaws of life on extrication of a car. So those are cool. Nice.
Great. Thank you very much.
Yep.
All right. Next report is the park committee report. Supervisor Reyes.
We did not have a report yet. We just met prior to this meeting today. So we did not have an update on the Parks Committee. We didn't have any approved minutes yet.
Okay.
The Booth Lake report is attached. as well as the 2025 budget, which Kim, I thank you. I thought we were gonna go through it in the budget meetings, but it was a strong season. So comparing 24, they did have an increase in rates in 24, so that helped to the budget. They also added some boat slips. So it has been and the weather has been pretty good. So it's been a good season for 2024. And actually, in looking at the 2025 budget, you will see that the municipalities' funding is slightly less than it was in 2024. I think it was 84,550 between the three communities in 24 and 25. It's down to 82,038.76. I think just recently they sent the invoice for the second draw for 2024.
And I paid that.
The great news on that is because we had a good year, the $30,000 out of that second draw is actually going to be paying down the loan that the Booth Lake has open, which will save $32,000 in interest next year. And then after that is paid down, we're gonna refinance with municipal backing from the town of Troy, and that should bring it from about 7.5% down to 5.5% because there was no municipal backing. So that's like great news. Then we should be able to pay that off probably in 3 or 4 years, that balance of that loan that is outstanding. The budget that you have does include, you can see some of the repairs, continued repairs at the site. The new commercial refrigerator was identified by the FDA audit. And we are also investing in one more inflatable. The inflatables have really brought the attendance up this year at the park. There's some in the toddler area size and then more. And then it's like a obstacle course for in the deeper area, and it's adding a fourth pod onto it. Someone on the board did ask, so it's a nice area. Someone on the board did ask, does that mean we're gonna have too many people coming? Are we gonna need more lifeguards? But they do feel like it's manageable because it's just another section.
Just spreads out all the people that are there.
Yeah, and the lifeguards have been pretty proactive. Like if it gets busy out there, they can go out on a board and patrol from there. So it has been a really good year. Exciting to see that we can make some progress on the loan. And that our payment for 2025 is actually going down a little bit. And it will be in the 2 disbursements again.
Does that payment for 2025 include the $1,500 we approved last month?
It does.
Perfect.
Yes, so for the herbicide treatment that we talked about last month, that's included in there. The capital is also included in there, so. But with the fall, like, because we're gonna use a lot of that to pay off the loan, likely the 2025 draw, the first draw will be likely January, February timeframe, because there isn't a lot of activity until the lottery for the pavilions and the boat slips. But, so I would make a motion that we approve the Booth Lake Memorial 2025 budget as presented.
Under discussion, we can do that, and it's probably proper we do it, but it actually won't get really approved until it's included in our full budget, and then there's a meeting of the electors to actually approve the levy. So I do think having everybody up front and seeing this is an improvement from what we've had in the past. So I don't have an issue with that. I just wanted to bring that up. Any other discussion on that?
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that either, if it would just be reviewed at our budget meeting.
I was just following Jerry's directions.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got it from Jerry, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who's the chairman for the town of Troy, so.
Can I ask, do you know if you've had more people on the beach or if the events that you guys have had increased it overall?
I think it was both.
Okay.
The Jaws movie was a big draw, and it was very busy there.
Did you
They
put
had-
an inflatable in the water?
It was a big inflatable screen that was massive, and you could watch it from both sides. So
Yeah.
there were people watching the movie Jaws from in the water, And yes, we maybe did have some lifeguards go out with some fins. Yeah. Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, it was a big, and it, like I said, it's been a really strong year. There we are gonna try and be a little bit stricter, and maybe have 2 people at the gates, for monitoring outside residents. Because we've had some issues with that.
Overall, that's a lot of good news.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of good news.
Congratulations.
The vote.
Okay, we had a motion and a second to approve the Blue Lake 2025 budget. On the motion, all in favor say aye. Aye, opposed? None, motion carried. Thank you. Alrighty, Lake Beulah Management District report is in the packet. Greg is not here, so I just want to make sure it was there, and yes, it was. It was 2 pages. So, okay, recycling committee report.
Yes, the recycling event is going to be scheduled for first week in October. That would be Saturday, I think, the 6th of October for the recycling. And number 2, the recycling grants to responsible units applications is due 1st of October. And the recycling committee will be meeting to accomplish that. And date and time of the meeting, of course, will be posted.
Okay.
And that's all I have.
All right, very good. Anything to report on the library?
The next library meeting is Tuesday, tomorrow, 10 September, 4:30 PM. And that's all I have to report.
Okay. Thank you, John and Christina. All right, planning commission report, Supervisor Johnner.
Planning Commission met August 7th, August 21st, and September 4th. The agenda items are a rezone request, a variance request, and another rezone request. Start at number 1, motion to approve the Planning Commission's recommendation to deny the rezone request for PET 1800006A at N8828 Stringers Bridge Road by West Rod Cottage Industries, LLC.
All right, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Discussion?
I have discussion. And if you want to go first, you can go first.
No. Go
I
ahead.
just have a statement here that I'd like to read that I wrote up for the last week or so. Since being elected as town supervisor, I do my best to take the applicant out of the equation when I look at issues that come before the town board, and feel that I have done just that regarding this rezone request. My job as one of the supervisors is to make sure that the rules apply to all citizens or businesses equally without bias or favoritism. I have walked the property, read all 3 meeting minutes, and watched the planning commission meeting pertaining to the rezone of parcel number PET 1800006A in preparation for this meeting. I have also talked with Darren Swanky and one other gentleman at the county, in which they both told me that this parcel is zoned incorrectly and needs to be rezoned. Darren explained to me that there are several possible zoning codes that this property could be rezoned to, including R1, A5, C3, C2, and B3. From what I understood him to say is that the upland portion of this parcel could be rezoned, while the shoreline wetland area could be kept in C4 zoning. My understanding is that the applicant could have chosen any of these zoning codes, but felt that the C2 zoning with conditional uses was the best option for the needs that they would like to use the land for. I understand that this is a substandard lot and does not fit into all the categories that C2 requires, but believe that there are other substandard lots on the lake that have been changed into other zoning to fit their needs. From the citizens that I have talked to in the community and on the lake, they would like to see another place of business opened up on the lake that they could access. I appreciate the time and input that has been provided on both sides of this issue by the town of East Troy citizens, the Lake Beulah Management District, and the Planning Commission. It is clearly an emotional topic on both sides of the issue. My understanding on this matter is that the applicant is requesting a rezone from C4 wetland to C2 upland with conditional uses, with the C4 wetland at the lakefront to remain intact, which this makes sense to me. I agree with the request that this should be rezoned, and that is why I will be voting no to denying the rezoning of this parcel. Thank you.
Thank you. I wrote an analysis myself. I couldn't read it last month because we never came up to a vote. So, and I've been involved the first time that this came up and even before that. So here's my analysis. And I'm not going to read the definition of C4. We've had it now presented to us from several different avenues. We heard it again today, but the key words in the zoning book, go find it under CD 74-124, preserve, protect, and enhance the lake, streams, and wetland areas of Walworth County, including watersheds and shore cover. Pretty plain. C4 and C1 zoning districts are normally untouchable. The Walworth County zoning code states that C4 shall not be rezoned. Plain English. This is not a zoning designation error oversight. So Darren is wrong on that because zoning has been in existence for 50 years in Walworth County. And when they first came out with the maps, you guys go talk to Bob Zelensky because he was on the planning commission for 50 years, just about. After the zoning was done, there was areas throughout the county where they said, this is wrong, this is wrong, there's mistakes. Those are all corrected in the first 5 to 6 years after the zoning code came out, okay, 50 years ago, okay. They were changed. There was no discussion on that particular parcel. 50 years. We heard that number before. So Walworth County states shall not be rezoned. We would be creating a substandard C2 lot where one currently does not exist. In addition, a rezone to C2 does not fit or conform to the area or width requirements of that designation. That being 0.46 acres versus the required 5 acres. The parcel has approximately 134 feet of lake frontage. Approving this rezone would be inappropriate and irresponsible. The intent and definition of C2 would be compromised. This area is designated as a primary environmental corridor on the town and county comprehensive plan. Intent here would also be violated. The Planning Commission public hearing had detailed and factual testimony stating objections and serious concerns, mostly environmental issues. The location of this rezone request is at a critical location of Lake Beulah, including sensitive area number 7 and its major inflow of surface water. We heard objections from LBMD, and LBPIA as to the approval of this rezone. These groups are charged with protecting Lake Beulah. A similar rezone request was denied in 2013 and possibly at another instance. And when I researched that a little bit, I think there was another one submitted and then withdrawn. So this is actually the second full time that this has been heard. In addition, the circuit court decision was upheld by the Court of Appeals by Judge James L. Carlson on January 14, 2015. A marina was deemed a violation of the Walworth County Code at that time. Current activity at this location appears to be an operating commercial marina. The town board must uphold the Planning Commission's 6-1 vote to deny the rezone. So I'll be voting yes to the denial.
I also have a comment. I know and trust the Planning Commission's decision to deny this request. They have done their due diligence. Chairman Cook stated, there is nothing that was submitted on behalf of West Rod Cottage LLC that contradicted the serious environmental concerns set forth by the letters opposed to this request and the public comments of experts, including Robert Nada, Bob Vanden Bogart, Dr. Jennifer Torsch, and Patrick Bergen. The Planning Commission requested an updated delineation of the sensitive area to better define it. That was not done. Commissioner Smith stated that the lot in the proposal would be non-conforming C2. It does not fit any of the setbacks required for C2. It is less than 10% of a minimal lot size for a C2 property. Commissioner Dynick stated that the shoreline cannot be disputed, that it is C4. I agree with the planning commissioners Dynick and Russell that changing this property zoning to something other than C4 would be setting a new precedent that would affect this lake and all the other lakes in the state. A change would be irresponsible because this is a sensitive area and a critical habitat. Changes to this sensitive area and critical habitat would cause a ripple effect throughout the entire lake.
Thank you. Joe?
I actually have a handout of notes I just took. If you
Want to read them?
pass it down. There's quite extensive. There's a lot of hyperlinks in here to support more conditional use, and then his zoning. Just my findings talking with Darren that it was indeed a mapping error when they zoned this. And the reason why it wasn't corrected is because Fred Meyer, who previously owned it, didn't find the need to rezone it. He was able to keep doing his library and my findings, and I think it'd be appropriate.
Can you summarize it a little bit?
A little bit of summary. Environmental study from why I'm going to say no to this is that it represents 2/3 of 1% of sensitive area 7. So it's not a huge impact for this all going to C2 split zoning, by the way. And the reason why there was no wetland delineation done is because there's not going to be any soil disturbing activities. He's not planning on building anything. He's not adding anything to the property. He's asking for parking and for him for boats to pull up off the lake, tie up their boat, walk across the street and grab a beer or a sandwich or whatever, because his plans are to open Fred's Tap. So I ran on a business friendly platform and property rights. I know this is a really polarizing topic. In the area, there is a lot of people that came out and spoke for it and against it. But I'm just trying to do what's right. I spoke with Darren and from my judgment, I think it should be rezoned to C2. It'd be good for the town of East Troy. I would add that if we do approve a rezone, maybe we put conditions on there like the Lake Beulah Management District laid out to us, so we can come in a middle ground as far as getting what residents want around that area and for what the applicant wants also. Just come to a middle ground. So I'm not on the conditional use portion, I'm not totally out of the realm of some restrictions if we get to that point.
Okay. All right.
Did you pass that? Yes.
Michelle?
Thanks to leave it to me, guys. So obviously this is a complex and sensitive situation. We've all invested a lot of time and effort into it, researching the issues, reviewing the videos. I have heard through multiple sources that the zoning should be revised. So I don't think we should simply reject the applicant's request. I do agree that it's important to have more commercial options on the lake and would like to work together to make that happen. Actually, Mr. Bergen, I was quite encouraged last month when you submitted your document that included 18 conditions that could be, you actually mentioned, should this be approved, that you would suggest adding some conditions, and that's what I would be encouraged. I was very, like I said, I was very encouraged to hear that. And so I went through those conditions, and again, talking about give and take, maybe considering like 10 of those 18 conditions to be included with a rezone approval. Things such as, from your list, recognition of the environmental sensitivity of the area, maintaining, I think we've all kind of talked about that lakeshore area, maintaining the 2,120 square feet of existing wetlands along the lake shore. Based on the Merit's 2012 survey, plat of survey on record, the wetland area established by Sewer PAC on 5/31 of 2012. No commercial vehicles or construction equipment on the property at any time. Provide and maintain that vegetative buffer zone within 75 feet of the lake shore or the ordinary high water mark, which is directly from the zoning requirements. So I saw that in my research. Building setbacks shall apply to any structures, again, based on the county zoning, 75 feet from the shoreline, 50 feet from the road, and 100 feet from the rear of the yard. No fuel sales on the property, no camping or other uses of the property, no live music, loud music, or other disturbances on the property. Complying with all state, county, and town laws and permitting requirements, which disappointing that we would have to state that, but I think we would assume that. And I guess the only reason I didn't include the no land disturbing or filling allowed is because when I visited the property, there are some significant ruts close to the shoreline that I believe will be or should be restored and put back in place. So those were, again, trying to look at some give and take from both sides and in order to make this work for the community.
One point of clarification on this wetland delineation, and it said we all reviewed this. Joe sat in through it and heard all about this wetland delineation. And what was counted on was that the surveyor came out and recertified it. Surveyors don't do wetland delineation. Okay, I know, I'm a surveyor. I also did wetland delineations before you had to be certified to do it. And that is an old delineation. Would it change in those years? I doubt it. I'm just stating for the record that there wasn't a delineation done, and it was based on the fact that if there's no shore disturbance, maybe you don't have to do it again, but I didn't see that in the record.
But I think it sounded like the management district was amenable to agreeing to that management, to that districting, the survey on record from 2012. That was what Mr. Bergen shared with us last month.
I'm not sure of that.
What, are you saying I'm not being truthful?
No, what I'm saying is that the actual delineation was done, and SewerPAC did it
Right, that's what it says.
twice, and the issue is not whether or not it was needed. The statement was said by SewerPAC or DNR saying that if you don't disturb anything, we don't need to do another one. That's what they said, right? So that's the fact.
In 2012?
No.
We're referring to
Sure.
the
I know.
2012.
Yeah, I was around there then. All right, before we vote on this, do you want to?
I have another question.
Sure.
If this is voted no to deny the rezone, what is the next step in the process?
I'm not sure of that.
Jen drafts a resolution that goes to the county that says that the town board voted to deny the denial, basically, but in the proper language.
So they would get the resolution and vote.
So they would go to the county from here?
Yeah, that's the next step. That's always the next step.
Yes.
Well, I'm new at this.
And go from there is what
Yeah.
the information would be.
Because we're advisory. Whatever you
Right.
do is advisory to Walworth.
I guess
County.
my question,
Right.
I wanted to make sure it wasn't getting kicked back to the planning.
Well, I think at this stage, we have to act on what's here, and that would go to the county, and then the county would be the one that would be directing the next step, I would think.
And then
Advising.
do we send the county the conditional uses that we
No,
want,
'cause-
or they?
No, because no conditional use permit has been discussed at the
So
planning
the
commission.
applicant has to come back to the planning commission with a conditional use.
If the
plan.
county determines that. The county may act on the rezone by itself, and that would make the conditional use moot, or drive the need to come back. So it's really gonna be in their hands after tonight, right?
So a question is, can we make another motion after this to
It's not,
approve it with conditional uses?
it's not
We're
noticed.
asking Attorney.
It's not noticed that way.
No, the notice is for the resolution that you have in your packet.
However, it can go back to plan commission to consider conditional uses.
At what stage?
I would say at the direction of the county.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking too. The county will be driving the next step.
Okay. I just wondered how that worked.
Yeah. Anything else that you want to?
Well, I did advise the plan commission what it needs to consider when looking at a rezone application. I also advised the board what a reviewing court would look at. And the vote tonight should keep the purposes of zoning in mind, and it must be supported by the evidence. Any motion to either approve or deny should be coupled with the reasons that you are supporting the way that you're voting based upon the evidence that was presented to the plan commission. Pardon?
The motion's already on the table.
Motion is as stated.
Well, the current motion is.
Correct.
Yes, and we're,
And it's the only.
and we're
motion.
still in discussion. We didn't vote yet. Everybody got their speak. Anybody else want to say anything else? I asked Attorney Mills for his input on that. And like you said, there was some guidance given on this. This is not a standard issue by any stretch of the imagination.
So
Joe,
I think I'd
when-
like Attorney Mills to continue as far as then what additional documentation it sounds like you would expect.
It wouldn't be
to
documentation.
provided.
It's just in the motion to approve or deny, much like a variance. Usually we adopt the plan commission's determination on hardship or what have you, and they say, include the recommendations of the plan commission as to why they either approved or denied. If this motion fails, any additional motion should include the reasons why you're voting the way that you're voting based upon evidence that was heard by the plan commission.
All right. All right.
So, so not their personal homework.
Correct.
It's all what's based on what the planning.
The
commission-
evidence that came before the plan
planning
commission.
Not the phone calls they made themselves.
Correct.
Thank you.
It has to be decided on the land and its use, not the land owner.
But investigation that got into the minutes of the planning commission, you can use, because that's on record.
Well, it depends on what was accepted as evidence. Some of what all these different conversations with Darren, it's all hearsay. So I don't know if it comes in as evidence or not. I would say no.
But all the input from the public is the same, correct? And all the input from the planning commission.
You certainly can
Some
consider
of those
comments by the public that were made before the plan commission.
And also the planning commission, because I've heard, and I wanted to ask this question also. Everyone keeps saying they've never changed C4 wetland before. Didn't the property next door to this property go from C4 to C2 at one point?
Yes.
But at the
And
planning
then-
commission, it
what's-
was that piece of property had a residence on it and it was greater than 5 acres.
Correct, but it was still C4 land that was
It had no
rezoned.
shoreland either.
It had no shoreline.
No, it wasn't on the shore.
Yeah, it had shoreline.
Yeah.
It was rezoned in the.
So I guess I'm asking, because I keep hearing that. I've heard it from the planning commission now, and I heard it from you, Chairman, tonight. You're saying that would be the first time in the history of
No,
Wisconsin.
I'm stating what the
That
record is
they've ever
showing.
changed C4, that they have ever rezoned C4 land. I believe that's an incorrect statement.
And I can't confirm or deny that for you because I don't.
I was stating what was put into the record.
I'm not saying just you, I'm saying I've heard it from other people in the audience, people on the planning commission.
Yes.
And I keep saying, well, what, I don't understand, because I thought the land next door was originally C4 and changed to C.
It was.
And that's just one of them.
Yeah.
So,
It's large acreage.
so there's a lot of hearsay here, in my opinion, but.
All right, like you said, very contentious, a lot of information. The Plan Commission did their homework and they really studied this. This is not a slam dunk, quick in and out deal. This was 4 meetings and I looked at all of them. Joe sat through all of them. There was a lot of discussion. There was plenty.
There was.
So this is not something that was, slapped together at all. But one other thing, we heard the term here, split zoning, that was not considered by the Plan Commission. First I heard of it, it was tonight, split zoning. And that's not what the request is. The request is to rezone the entire parcel. That is what we're
Including the shoreland.
including it. So we're acting on what the Plan
Is that
Commission
true?
did.
No,
That was not
that was not. When it was presented as the shoreland would remain C4 and the upland
Never
would
happened.
be C2.
incorrect.
Yes, that's what was
I went
presented.
I went through all the notes and all of the video. I did not see that. I heard it once before.
Yeah, the application should say it, if that's what the
application did
applicant
say
was.
Yeah, the application did not mention that at all. So that's what we're dealing with here. And again, we are kind of the intermediate step here because the county has to do their due diligence and they can't break the law either. So, they're going to have to make a decision here. We have to make a decision. So we heard the discussion, and like I said, everybody looked at all of the information that was presented. What we're dealing with here is a resolution of denial that states 3 pages of reasons why. Okay, so that's what I'm voting on. I'm voting on what's in this resolution of denial. So I think it's time to vote on this. We've killed this.
Do a roll call.
All right, roll call vote on the motion to approve the planning commission's recommendation to deny the rezone request at PET 18406A at N 8828 Strange Bridge Road by West Valley LLC owner John Stowe. So the motion, I vote aye to go along with the planning commission's denial. Aye, Karkowski.
Leonard, no.
Church. Hold on. 1 second. You have me all confused.
That's what they turned in.
I vote with the planning commission.
So you're voting aye.
John or nay?
Michelle?
Reyes. Nay.
Nay. All right, so the motion fails. So this resolution will go to the county without town board action. It'll be listed as a recommendation by the, a motion and approval by the town board to not go along with the denial recommendation of the planning commission. Okay, everybody clear on what I just said?
Yep.
All right, so it's going forward. As we said. Okay, number 2, Joe.
Motion to approve the planning commission's recommendation to approve the variance request for PA 106500001 at W1138 Splee-Scone Road.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the planning commission's recommendation to approve the variance request for PA 106500001 at W1138 Splee-Scone Road, Town of East Troy, Sanitary District Number 2, owner Chuck Decker, applicant. Discussion.
Yeah, it was clearly stated that there was no negative impact to the neighborhood or the public. and that this was necessary for the sanitary district to.
It's also safer for our town employees to do maintenance there with the sanitary district number 2.
Joe?
Yes.
I'd ask that the motion be withdrawn and remade approving the reasons given by the plan commission for the need for a variance.
Agreed?
The planning commission felt that it was out of line, that it shouldn't have. come to that.
Understood. This will go, the resolution as drafted does include some of the reasoning.
And it does, the
You have
county
to,
never looks at our minutes.
you have to state the
They're not
resolution.
These aren't minutes.
Right.
This
No.
is a resolution that
And
they're
this
gonna look at.
resolution will go to the county.
Understood.
Can I then note, there's a couple of things on this petition that need to be edited?
On the petition?
That's what it is, resolution.
Oh, okay.
Approval petition.
What do you have?
In the last paragraph, it states that Jen is duly elected. I don't think that's in any of the other ones. She's simply qualified and acting secretary. And it has the date of April 3rd.
Yep.
So reusing documents, I get it.
Yeah.
I'd make those changes.
Pull through. So make a new motion with the required changes on it, adopting the plan commission's reasoning.
As stated in the resolution.
Correct.
As, got it, Joe? As stated in the resolution and with the changes. So make a new motion. You withdraw your first motion.
Withdrawing my first motion.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. Okay, make the new motion.
Motion to approve the planning commission's recommendation to approve the variance request for W 1138 Lee Scone Road with the corrections, the added corrections.
And the reasons stated in the resolution.
Planning commission.
And the reasons stated in the resolutions.
I don't believe he read the number correctly.
He just did the address.
He just said the address.
Okay.
He didn't read the PA, parcel number.
West 1138, you got all those?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we have a motion.
Second.
Tyson Leonard, second. Discussion. Okay, the motion is to approve the planning commission recommendation to approve the variance request for PA 1065-401 at W 1138 Lee Scone Road, Town of East Troy, Sanitary District Number 2, owner Chuck Decker, applicant. For the reasons stated in the resolution. On the motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries.
You kind of restated what the motion was by adding all that additional language.
Aye.
Motion to approve the planning commission's recommendation to approve the rezone request and CSM for PET 3100007 at lot on Swoboda Road by Bill and Pam Berkey.
Second.
For the reasons stated in the resolution, right?
Yes.
Do we have a resolution?
Yep. It was on the table.
It was
tonight.
the added items.
It's on the table. Yep.
So we're back to little stack.
Balance here. There.
Yeah. They must have already-
Did you steal mine?
No. this-
Okay, so the reasons stated on the resolution. Okay. All right,
Who was the second?
Barb Church.
Thank you.
all right. Discussion.
I'd like, go ahead.
This is good revenue for the town, and it's great for the applicant also. They're doing their own homestead. And it's not 1 acre lots. It's above 5 acres. It unanimously passed the planning commission. I think it is a really good idea. So, yeah.
All I know is I'm gonna have some good new neighbors. I'm good.
The other thing is that while this is agricultural land, they are not completely removing the farming element. They're doing it differently because what they have been farming has not produced, and that's documented in the rezone.
Yeah, I did review the soil survey mapping system, and the majority of that property is class 2 and class 3 soils, but there's a fair amount of 5s and 6s in there too, which are really not tillable, highly erodible. So this is not, would be considered the prime ag land, but it is in our smart growth plan. This is exactly what was anticipated in the future, and that's what you're doing, and I congratulate you for that. Thank you. So, any further discussion? Okay, on the motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. Okay, unfinished business. Approval of town board letter to Walworth County regarding safety issues and changes at the intersection of Stone School Road and County Trunk Highway L and Miramar Road. I was a little tardy on getting this one out. And we did it this morning, and Michelle got a chance at it, and Chief Gurecki got a chance at it, and I'll just read it. We'll be signing this if it's approved at the time we do all of our checks here. So I wrote it to Captain Josh Staggs, Chairman of the Walworth County Safety Commission at Elkhorn, and I say, the safety of the traveling public has been a concern of the town of East Troy for many years. The reference intersection has been the scene of several motor vehicle accidents and many near misses. The addition of a school at the intersection and the addition of ATV, UTV traffic on County Trunk Highway L has increased our concern. The speed limit on County Trunk Highway L is 55 miles per hour. At a minimum, the speed limit should be reduced to an acceptable and prudent speed as warranted by the actual field conditions. The board also discussed having flashing warning lights at this intersection. The town would be amenable to a potential cost sharing if Walworth County agrees with this need. The town is aware of a future road improvement project on County Trunk Highway L in this general location. We respectfully ask that a permanent remedy to this unsafe intersection be addressed at that time. That solution could include improved design geometrics. Thank you for your consideration of this matter, and it's signed by the full board, the chief, and the clerk treasurer. So with that, anybody have any questions on that at all? If not, a motion to approve that letter, and we'll sign her up.
I would make a motion to approve the letter to Captain Josh Staggs of the Walworth County Safety Commission as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, Tyson, second, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed? None, motion carries.
The chief is planning to attend as well, right?
Yes,
The
the
October meeting?
chief would be there,
We
and
may
you were
go as
there,
well.
you were there the first time,
Yep, in
and you're
August.
certainly welcome to go there, because you could vouch for a couple of these issues here. The other thing is, when we discussed about listing a speed limit, a recommendation, there's a problem with that, not to seeming heavy-handed on it, but if we make a recommendation, we're almost locking ourselves into that. They're the experts. They are in control of the safety on their highway. So Chief said at the time that this is discussed at that committee, that may be a good time to bring it up, especially if they ask for, what do you think?
Right.
That's when that probably come up.
Right, I did get to talk to the chief, yeah.
Okay. All right. Do we vote on this yet?
I think we voted, right? Yep. Yes, we did.
Yes, I seconded it.
Okay, we voted on that, so here's a clean one. Do you have a clean one there? Or you good?
I do.
Okay. Okay, approved Baker Tilly proposal for auditing services, 3-year term.
Jim reviewed the contract per your direction at the last meeting. I did email Wendy Unger, who is our auditor. She's a partner or a principal with Baker Tilly. She's going to run the suggested changes that Jim suggested against through their corporate counsel. I did talk to her about leaving the cost the same for the landfill budget instead of increasing it over the 3-year term. So she's gonna hold that at the amount for what we pay for the first year in 2025. She doesn't see any problem with the attorneys coming to an agreement on language.
Okay,
So I suggest that we
Until there's
postpone this.
approved language, I don't know if you can.
Exactly, that's why it should be postponed till next month.
okay, and the amounts and all that, because we've seen the original contract, but not
Right.
how it's.
A red line, right?
So I'll
Right.
put that on
For
October?
next, yeah, for next month.
Okay.
And for landfill, for 2024, they were saying 1,580 and then increasing over the, till 2026 to 1,740. And she agreed, like I said, per my discussion with her, to leave that at the 1,580 level for the, all 3 years.
Okay.
That
All right.
basically, I mean, it's included in our statements every year, but there's very little activity beyond the well testing annually. That's done by annually, but
Okay, okay,
or semi-annually.
so we're good?
Yep.
As is. Okay.
From October.
So do we need to make a motion to table it or?
Yeah, let's do that, please.
I make a motion that we table the
Approval.
approval of Baker Tilly's proposal for auditing services with a 3-year term until October.
Second.
Michelle, second, discussion, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carries. All right, new business, consideration of a special permit under Town of East Troy Ordinance 16.05.180 to allow operation of an aircraft on the waters of Lake Beulah. We did get a letter last month, and that's included in the packet. And Eric, you're Eric.
No,
There, Eric, yeah. As I suggested last month, that, send it to the full board and somebody may want to have a discussion here. So that's why it's on here. And I believe, Michelle, you added you added this.
Yes.
So,
No, public comments is over.
we have your letter.
Oh, so I can't add anything.
You can't add anything, but if the discussion here, if we have a question, we may still call you, so don't take off. All right. So anyway, who wants to start discussion here?
Yeah, I guess I thought it was a worthwhile discussion to present before the board. Obviously, we do include in our language the opportunity for a special permit. Last month when Mr. Jones presented, he was very amenable to, a test pilot program, maybe a short duration of the special permit with limited hours or days of the week. I think he spoke to his safety record and his experience in very congested and busy lakes such as Lake Geneva. I think you said Delavan Lake.
Lake Geneva,
Fox
Cole,
Lake.
Delavan, operate off of
Fox Lake, I think, or Fox River.
Fox River, Rock River, Mississippi River. I mean, I've operated all over in the country too. And I was just, the only thing that I did not get, and I apologize, I thought I was gonna be able to, now I feel bad, like this is so to say, but I did contact, and I apologize because I thought I was gonna present this. I called the Geneva Lake Water Patrol, Town of Delavan, City of Delavan Water Patrol, Como, Town of Geneva Water Patrol. Basically, none of them have had any problems except one. That was Lake Como, which it was because Burlington operated a flight school. They operated a flight school, and they practiced off of Lake Como at 6:30 and 7 o'clock in the morning. That was not well received. And so they just talked to the flight school, and they stopped doing that. Now they only land on Lake Como like 3 or 4 hours a day, if that.
Sure.
So that was the only, they've never had any complaints. I get dozens when I post a video of me landing in a lake or on a Facebook page all over. Hey, that'd be cool. Yeah, I'd like to do that too, but.
I think that, yep, sorry.
I just have never had any of those complaints.
I think, as well, at the Boot Lake Committee, they mentioned that there was recently a landing there at Boot Lake, I think a couple of times, and it was, well received, cool to see from, the people there. I don't know, Jim, if we actually know what that process would be to draft that special permit at this point.
Right, and there is a statute on local regulation of seaplanes. It says whenever there is an ordinance created, there should be a public hearing. And at that hearing, you have to prescribe reasonable safety regulations. You need to prescribe the areas which may be used. And then further in the statute, it says that the areas have to be marked by standard marking devices.
That's not accurate because you already have the ordinance in place. We're not developing an ordinance. There's absolutely nothing in the state statutes that requires that.
The question was, what goes into consideration regarding a special permit? We are already recognized as having restrictions on Lake Beulah.
Can you state the statute that states that you have to have the land marked for landing? Because there's not one.
Yes, 30.78 sub 2.
30.78. So
I'll read it to
you're
you.
saying that every lake in the state of Wisconsin, sir, has a marked landing?
They're supposed to.
That's not true. It's not accurate.
Well, I'll read the statute to you.
Please.
City, village, and town ordinances. Any city, village, or town adjoining or surrounding any waters may, after public hearing by ordinance, and then prescribe the safety regulations and those that I read earlier. May, meaning we don't have to allow it.
No, I understand.
Okay.
So you made a blanket statement.
Sir, this is, the board is speaking right now.
So sub 2 reads, marking of regulated or restricted areas. Any ordinance that regulates or restricts an area of surface waters under sub 1, which was the public hearing, or 1G, shall direct, which means they have to, there's no discretion there, shall direct that the area be marked by standard marking devices. That's what the statute reads.
All right,
Can you read that again to me, which statute is it?
number.
30.78 sub 2.
And can I have your phone number, please?
262-363-7311.
Okay, I did respond to Mr. Jones with some reasons, and I'll read them to the board. I did repeat the advice about asking, if the board wanted to put this on the agenda. I said the lakes in the town of East Troy are not suitable for this activity. Due to its high water quality, Lake Beulah is especially very active with swimmers, paddleboarders, canoeists, kayakers, sailors, fishermen, and pleasure boaters. The pleasure boats include jet skis, water skiers, tubes, ballast boats, and pontoons. The lake also has several camps and a yacht club. I am sure you can understand my concern. That's what I responded to him. And now we have it here for discussion, and this is all good discussion. Let's have some more. Joe, you have any comments on this?
I think it would be cool to allow like a temporary permit and let them demonstrate it. Especially now we're going around fall. Why not? I'm open to it.
I'm open to it if it was like during the week,
Right.
during the hours of whatever,
Right.
11 to 2 or something, where
Keep safety in mind.
where nobody is.
Well,
And I guess I do have some questions. What if someone is swimming? Can you see them from the plane? Like, how does that work?
And I do also want to indicate that this would never be on, I don't know what's the narrow section?
Well,
Long Lake.
but people swim on every lake.
The no wake zone. Oh, no wake. It would never be a no wake zone. Can you see swim? Absolutely. Swimmers are by boats. Swimmers are out there. I can see probably better than any boat can see when you're coming in the land. You have about a 270-degree angle. You're coming in at 40 miles an hour, and you're coming down. By the time I can start seeing, I got probably 2 to 3 miles to be able to see in front of me.
Yeah.
Everything very, very clear. Yeah, so the answer to that question is yes.
I think we're gonna have some longer meetings here, the way it sounds. Anything to add to that before we?
Yeah, because the ordinance itself, the statute itself, reference public hearing. I think there should be a public hearing where you can address the issues that have come up tonight. You can have discussion regarding transporting aquatic invasive species. You can talk about sensitive areas and where you want to keep them out. I'm not exactly sure what the statute means by marked by standard marking devices, but that would have to be included with any special permit that we would grant. So that would have to be a consideration as well.
And who puts those out or picks them up?
Right.
I mean, can they be land,
I've never seen one.
can they be like land, like,
Never seen one.
you know, land structures? Or it
I'd
has
have,
be
because this is in
actual-
chapter 30,
Yeah.
I'd have to contact the DNR
Okay.
and say, who places them? What are the costs? How big are they? I mean, do we really have to map out an area where a plane could land?
So there
That
was,
seems unreasonable.
Right.
I actually came across this with an old geezer in Troy about a week or two ago. This is no joke. And he said that there used to be airplanes allowed to land on Lake Beulah back, what, 70s, early 70s?
Well,
I don't know if that's.
I don't know
true.
when this,
Everything was allowed in Lake
It
Beulah in
happened
the
in the
seventies,
80s.
wasn't it?
When
Jeremy?
the
Anything
DNR
goes?
changed the rules, and
All
then
right.
there was about 7 or 8 lakes. Once one started, then, oh, we should do that, and we should do that. And that's
That-
how.
I think it's cool. If he can demonstrate it and it's safe.
Right.
So you're saying we can't do anything till there's a public hearing to talk about it?
no, that's my suggestion. The statute does not say for a special permit to be issued, a public hearing has to be held. But when you're creating the ordinance regarding allowing or disallowing
Yeah.
seaplanes, it calls for a public hearing.
I agree with that.
I also
Understood.
creating an ordinance.
Oh, one at a time, please. Barb, you got the floor.
Thank you. I also want to know, it says, we're not going to operate during times of heavy boat traffic and or high voltage waves. How do you determine heavy boat what to you is heavy boat traffic?
I can answer that pretty easily. If I'm coming over the top, which is called your surveying your landing area, I'm not stupid. And pilots usually aren't stupid. I say usually because maybe there might be one. But when you see boats, especially on holidays or certain times of the day, there's times on Lake Geneva, which is 8 miles long, that I won't land on Lake Geneva because there's just too many boats and it's not safe. That is where you have to, and I think John's talking about, you have to use your own common sense and your own mind saying, man, that just doesn't look good. You're not gonna land there. And I went back and looked. I landed 9 times on Lake Geneva and 8 times on Holden this year. It's not like it's an everyday occurrence. It's very rare. It just happens. I would be coming over maybe twice a year or 3 times a year to visit friends on the lake. It's not like people are gonna see the airplane every single day on the lake.
You know, the airport, East Troy has a nice airport about 3 miles from where you'd be landing.
I've landed there many times.
Yeah, and who are these people? Are they, you said they're residents?
It's
on the
one
lake?
person, it says in his letter.
Yeah, there's one family that I know on the lake,
Who is it?
right there.
You?
Right here.
Right here?
The little street.
All right. you're
You
recording.
you say my name and all that?
Yeah, as long as you
Okay.
spoke up. What is your name?
My name is Tom Barnes.
Tom Barnes. Okay, we talked actually, so I know we're
Oh,
going.
okay. I reside at N 9271 East Shore Road.
Okay, all right. All right, I think we had enough discussion. This is something that's really bugging you right here.
I need to
Yeah.
speak if I can be
Go ahead.
recognized.
Please.
So my suggestion would be to have a public hearing to address what a special permit should have in it. My alternate suggestion would be that if a motion is made, that it be contingent upon any required markings in the lake required under statute 30.78.
Wouldn't that be after the special hearing? Wouldn't that be the result?
No, I'm saying if the board doesn't like my suggestion for a public hearing and they move forward with a vote tonight,
Oh,
have a vote contingent upon compliance with the statute.
30 days.
And then I could follow up with DNR about the markings that,
Well, I think the DNR is one issue. I think that I would like to know how, how we have an airport in the area, and I don't know how they're impacted by having planes land on the water. So I would like to request a public hearing, make a motion that we hold a public hearing to get all the possible questions and feelings out of the way.
Okay.
I'll
Why don't you get-
second.
All right, that was a motion and a second to continue this with a public hearing for the stated purpose of consideration of a special permit for operation of aircraft in waters of Lake Beulah. Any other discussion? Hearing none on the motion to have a public hearing on this event, roll call vote. I'm voting no.
No to a public hearing?
No to any consideration.
Well, the motion is for public hearing, so that's what you're voting on.
Leonard, aye. No.
Ray is I.
Church, I.
Johnner, aye.
So we're going to have a public hearing. I don't know.
The statute also requires that notice of a public hearing be given to the Department of Transportation.
Bureau of Aeronautics wants to know. Right? Bureau of Aeronautics has to know. All right. I don't think we can really go any farther because we had the consideration of special permit. We're going the avenue of having a public hearing next
We'll have
month.
to notice it for next month to schedule.
Next month. Okay. All right. Next item on the agenda, approve John's disposal service proposal for 5 new year contract. Michelle, I'm gonna lean on you here. You do this all the time. My first brush at this is going, take this before they withdraw it. What's your view?
So, yeah, I guess, is that what she's doing? Like right now, they're saying our contract, the last year is 2025? Correct. And our contract right now says our cost would be 19.3. And they're saying if we extend it, but if, for 5 years?
Another 5.
2025 will be 19.07, but then what are the remaining years?
It's in the
It
contract,
increases
it's a
by
percentage.
1.1 cent.
Oh, every year, 1.2% year over year?
1.17.
Yeah, I don't know how
It's
they,
the reduced rate is one for the first year of the new contract. And then the agreement that we currently have is
CPU.
3%,
I thought it was CPU.
5%,
3%.
3%.
I'm going off, if I may be heard. I sent an email when I got the one-page proposal from John's. I don't know if you saw that or not.
They all got a copy.
Okay, and basically said, essentially, John's has asked to reopen the existing contract
Right.
for its proposed increase in 2025. However, the proposed increase is less than the 3% allowed in the existing contract. Further, the yearly rate increases in the proposed extension are less than the current percentage increases. This quote service end quote contract does not require competitive bidding, so the board could simply vote to extend the contract. I did not find anything legally objectionable in what is being proposed.
I'll make a motion that we approve the proposed 5-year contract extension with John's Disposal Service. I love them. I think that the service they give us is great. And if we can cut our rates, go for it.
That's not part of the motion.
No, it's not, but yes.
I'm just giving my reasons why.
I'll second.
Ty seconded it. Discussion, my point is what I said before. This is an excellent opportunity to really save money, number one. Number two, they have performed well and they are reactive to when we have a problem. So I always ask everybody, if you have a problem, call in to Kim and she goes right to them and they take it.
I just want to say that part of, besides the resident pickups, they give us free service here at the town hall. The e-cycle is free. They also do the boat launch for free. So they're servicing the town
you know,
Yeah,
that's.
above and beyond the.
Can I get a new garbage can? Mine is broke.
You just call John's and they'll deliver one to your house.
So I wonder if part of this is because I see in neighboring communities a competitor moving in.
Could be.
So do we, I mean, this is gonna lock us into 5
Well,
years or 6?
no, we're approving the proposal. If we get a contract, because it doesn't say the percentage increase
Right.
for 26, 27,
Right.
28, 29.
Right.
If the contract comes in with percentages that we don't like, we will not sign the contract.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
We are approving this proposal and this proposal only.
thank you.
Right.
Because it referred to 5 years, yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
on the motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. Very good.
Thank you. They have been so much easier to work with than our previous company that it just.
Big difference.
They're,
Oh, yeah.
they're very customer friendly. They get out,
What?
the older people, they
Our
get
goal
out.
line.
Geezers, I believe is how Mr.
No.
John.
I'm not gonna use that term because
Come on.
I would probably be included in that.
Okay.
But
Okay,
get out
let's move on.
Move on here. Attorney's report, ordinance 2024-8.
Yes. And Lisa Vint pointed out that there is one spelling.
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes. Yep.
underline that one.
Stuart.
Stewart.
Publisher and
All right. It's ordinance 2024-8, an ordinance amending section 10.20.040 regarding no parking zones. It reads, the town board of the town of East Troy, Walworth County, Wisconsin does hereby ordain as follows. One, that section 10.20.040 is amended and recreated to add the following italicized sentence. Under 7, on East Shore Road, sub A, between its intersection with Beulah Park Road, a private road, and its intersection with Beulah Lane Road, with lane being italicized. It previously said lake. 9, on Beulah Lane Road, again, lane is italicized, between its intersection with East Shore Road and its intersection with Stewart, with a T, School Road.
We would have to do this again for another spelling error.
2, all italicized language above is added to the existing ordinance. The remainder of the existing ordinance remains unchanged. 3, this ordinance shall become effective upon its passage and publication as provided by law, dated this 9th day of September 2024.
Okay, since it's an ordinance, we need to decide whether to waive the second reading or not. Do that now.
I move that we waive the second reading of ordinance number 2024-8.
I'll second that.
All right, we have motion second to waive the second reading of ordinance 2024-8. So we now need a motion to approve.
We need to vote on that, right?
The second reading.
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carried. Need a,
The motion should include with the spelling
Yes.
change.
I make a motion, we approve ordinance number 2024-8 with the correction of Stewart to Stewart.
I'll second.
Michelle, second. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. Motion carries.
All right, the next one is long.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. It's ordinance number 2024-9.
Yeah, football game.
An ordinance amending section 12.65 regarding special events. It reads, the town board of the town of East Troy, Walworth County, Wisconsin does hereby ordain as follows. That section 12.65 is amended and recreated as follows. The sections are 12.65010, which is title and purpose. 12.65.020, definition section. 12.65030, license required. 12.65.040, exemptions. 12.65.050, regulations. 12.65.060, application. 12.65.070, indemnity. 12.65.080, insurance. 12.65.090, license fees. 12.65.100, approval or denial of application. 12.65.110, appeal of application denial. 12.65.120, enforcement and severability.
Read faster.
I can't. 12.65.010, title and purpose. This chapter is entitled The Town of East Troy Special Event Ordinance. The purpose of this chapter is to provide order to protect the public health, safety, and welfare from the potential adverse effects which may arise from such special events or the large number of persons attracted to such events upon premises not regularly used for or developed to regularly accommodate such events or gatherings. Such regulations are intended to protect against traffic congestion, the overcrowding of lands, the potential for fires, explosion, riot, or disorder or other dangers to persons or property, the diversion of public health, safety, and emergency services from regular necessary duties, and the additional cost to the community of providing public services necessary to protect the public health, safety, and welfare arising from such temporary special events, and to promote the preservation of public peace and order, the furtherance of sanitation, and the safeguarding of the public health. 12.65.020 definition. A quote special event, end quote, is a temporary activity that is not ordinarily conducted on a daily or regular normal average use basis as a lawful use of the premises upon which such event is to occur. Such permits are required for all activities which meet the above definition and are to be held on property owned by the town of East Troy. Such special events include, but are not limited to, festivals, carnivals, athletic tournaments, picnics, and fairs. 12.65.030 license required. Every person is required to have a special event license prior to such event pursuant to the terms and provisions of this chapter. 12.65.040 exemptions. This chapter shall not apply to special events sponsored by the town and occurring on public property and otherwise authorized or regulated by the town ordinances, such special events being otherwise subject to governmental control to effectuate the purposes of this chapter. 12.65.050 regulations. 1. Duration and hours of operation. The duration of any special event shall not exceed 3 consecutive days, and any license, hereinafter referred to as license or permit, issued under this chapter shall specify the days upon which the event shall occur. No special event shall be permitted to continue past the regularly posted park hours on any given day. 2. Maximum attendance. A special event permit shall specify the maximum peak number of people to attend the special event. The licensee shall not sell tickets to nor allow the attendance of more people at the special event at any time should be other than as specified in the permit. Any tickets sold or advertisement made prior to the grant of a permit under this chapter and the satisfaction of all conditions of such permit shall include therein in like medium a statement that, quote, the occurrence of the special event remains subject to the approval of the town of East Troy, end quote. 3. Illumination. If the event is to continue during hours of darkness, illumination shall be sufficient to light the entire area of the event without the spillage of such illumination unreasonably beyond the boundaries of the special event premises. 4. Noise. No licensee shall permit any sound created by the special event activity to carry unreasonably beyond the boundaries of the special event premises. 12.65.060 application. 1. Any person intending to sponsor or produce a special event shall make written application for a special event permit and file the same with the town clerk at least 60 days prior to the date of the special event. 2. The application shall contain a statement made upon oath or affirmation that the statements contained therein are true and correct to the best knowledge of the applicant and shall be signed and sworn to or affirmed by the individual making application in the case of an individual, by an authorized officer in the case of a corporation, by a general partner in the case of a partnership, or by all officers of a unincorporated association, society, or group, or if there be no officers, by all members of such association, society, or group. 3, the application shall contain and disclose A, the name, address, and home and business telephone numbers of the authorized representative of the applicant who shall be responsible for the conduct of the special event and available to the town at all times for all communications and necessary contacts. B, the name, age, residence, and mailing address of all persons required to sign the application, and in the case of a corporation, a certified copy of the articles of incorporation, together with the name, age, residence, and mailing address of each person holding 10% or more of the stock of said corporation. C, the location upon which the special event is to be held. D, the nature or purpose of the special event. E, the total number of days and or hours during which the special event is to last, including setup and takedown operations. F, the maximum number of people which the applicant shall permit to attend at any time, not to exceed the maximum number which can reasonably assemble at the location of the special event in consideration of the nature of the special event. Hold on, which can assemble it. Okay, that's fine. G, the maximum number of tickets to be sold, if any. H, the plans of the applicant to limit the maximum number of people permitted to assemble. I, the plans for providing toilet and laboratory facilities, including the source, number, and location, type, and the means of disposing of waste deposited. J, the plans for holding, collection, and disposing of solid waste material. K, the plans, if any, to illuminate the location of the special event, including the source and the amount of power and the location of the lamps. L, the plans for parking vehicles and for any shuttle service. M, the plans for security, including the number of guards, their deployment, and their names, addresses, credentials, and hours of operation. Availability. N, the plans for sound control and sound amplification, if any, including number, location, and power of amplifiers and speakers. O, the plans for food and beverage concessions and concessionaires who will be allowed to operate on the grounds, including the names and addresses of all concessionaires and their license or permit numbers. P, the plans and specific description for each of any other type of vendor or amusement or entertainment provider who will be allowed to operate on the grounds, including the names and addresses of all such vendors and their license or permit numbers, if any. 4, no application shall be accepted as filed until the town clerk determines that the information in the application is complete and sufficient for filing purposes as required under this subsection. Upon filing, the clerk shall distribute copies of the application to the town board members who will approve or deny the application after addressing any concerns raised by the police and fire departments and with any emergency medical services providers. 12.65.070 indemnity. The special event permit application shall contain a statement that, quote, the applicant agrees to indemnify and hold harmless the town of East Troy from and against all liabilities, claims, demands, judgments, losses, and all suits at law or in equity, costs and expenses, including reasonable attorney fees, for injury or death of any person or loss or damage to the property of any person, firm, organization, or corporation arising in any way as a consequence of the granting of a permit for a special event, end quote. No permit may be issued unless the applicant has agreed to the terms of the statement on the written application. 12.65.080 insurance. Each applicant for a special event permit shall furnish to the town no later than 10 days prior to the special event a certificate of insurance written by a company licensed in the state of Wisconsin, approved by the town attorney or town clerk, and covering any and all liability or obligations which may result from the operations by the applicant's employees, agents, contractors, or subcontractors, and including workers' compensation coverage in accordance with Wisconsin Statute Chapter 101, unless this requirement is waived by the town board. The certificate shall provide that the company will furnish the town with a 10-day prior written notice of cancellation, non-renewal, or material change. The insurance shall be written in comprehensive form and shall protect the applicant and the town against all claims arising from injuries to members of the public or damage to the property of others arising out of any act or omission of the applicant, its, thank you, employees, agents, contractors, and subcontractors. The policy of insurance shall provide minimum combined single limits for bodily injury and property damage of at least $1 million per person or an aggregate. 12.65.090 license fees. Concurrent with the filing of any application for a special event permit, the applicant shall pay a non-refundable license administration and review fee to the town in the amount of $25. The town board may waive the $25 filing fee of any applicant as long as prior notice is given to the town clerk. In addition, a special event licensee shall be responsible for and pay to the town a fee for all town fire and police services provided by the town for the special event. Such police and fire services special event fee shall not exceed the actual cost of providing the services. Such fee shall be paid to the town by the licensee within 10 days of the date of itemized invoice for the same prepared by the town subsequent to the special event. The licensee shall provide the board with all information necessary to determine the level of services required. After reviewing such reports upon which the applicant may be heard, the town board shall specify as a condition of the permit that the applicant deposit with the town security in the form of a bond, letter of credit, or cash deposit in the form approved by the town attorney in an amount determined to be sufficient to guarantee payment for the anticipated cost of providing such special event police and fire services unless this requirement is waived by the town board. Such security deposit shall be made by the licensee no later than 10 days prior to the special event. Such security deposit shall entitle the town to draw upon the same forthwith upon any default in payment by the licensee after services invoice, with any remaining balance of any cash deposit to be returned to the licensee. Any determined deficiency for such service fees beyond the security deposit shall be a debt of the licensee to the town, collectible by the town in an action at law, which shall also entitle the town to all costs of collection, including attorney fees, and further shall also constitute a lien against the special event premises to be placed upon the tax roll for such premises.
Take a drink.
I know.
Take a drink. You're making me suffer.
Do I sound that
The-
bad?
No, you sound-
The town property is not in the tax.
Right.
I was just reading that, excuse me. It should
would
be
be the-
constitute a lien against the special event applicant's premises.
Applicant instead of premises or?
No, applicant's premises.
Gotcha.
So, 'cause that's a,
And then that's it.
Yep, that's the only change there.
Strike the tax roll.
no.
No,
No, that's good.
So it doesn't matter.
if they're in the
Oh,
town,
I got you.
What if
we
they're
can
not in
do
the
it.
town?
Then we can't do it.
Yep.
12.65.100, approval or denial of application. Upon receipt of a completed application, the town clerk shall submit the application for review to the town board, which shall approve, conditionally approve, or deny the license within 45 working days of its filing. The town board shall have the authority to modify the time and place or specified activities of a special event to facilitate crowd control in the interest of relieving congestion and promoting public safety. The town board shall issue the permit if it complies with all terms and provisions of this section. Grounds for the denial of the application shall include: 1, any false or misleading statements set forth upon the application. 2, the special event is of such a size or nature so as to require the diversion of so great a number of municipal police or fire services so as to deny reasonable police or fire services to the town as a whole. 3, the time, size, and nature of the special event would unduly disrupt the safe and orderly use of any street or public place or material portion thereof, which is ordinarily subject to congestion or traffic at the proposed time, or substantially interrupts the safe and orderly movement of traffic. 4, the vehicles, temporary structures, sanitary facilities, tents, equipment, or other materials used in the special event do not comply with or meet all applicable health, fire, or safety requirements. 5, the special event will interfere or conflict with another special event for which an application had been previously filed, or with a construction or public works project. 6, the conduct of the special event will be contrary to law, including noise regulations. 7, either the applicant or a proposed special event was previously licensed for a prior special event under this chapter and violated any term of this section while operating under such license. 12.65.110, appeal of application denial. Any applicant who has been denied a special event permit may, within 30 days of denial, have the denial reviewed by the circuit court judge by filing a writ of certiorari in the Walworth County Circuit Court. Said circuit court judge shall either affirm or reverse the initial action on the application. Such determination by the circuit court judge may be appealed to the Wisconsin Court of Appeals and Wisconsin Supreme Court as per the Wisconsin Rules of Civil Appellate Procedure. 12.65.120, enforcement and severability. Any person who violates any provision of this chapter or who violates any condition upon which a special event permit is granted shall be subject to a forfeiture of not less than $500 or more than $2,500. Each day of violation shall be considered a separate offense. In addition, the town may enforce this chapter by way of injunctive relief and all other remedies available at law and equity. The terms and provisions of this chapter are severable. Should any term or provision of this chapter be found to be invalid by a court of competent jurisdiction, the remaining terms and provisions shall remain in full force and effect. This ordinance shall become effective upon its passage and publication as provided by law, dated this 9th day of September 2024.
The major changes that were made here is just identifying this as
Town property.
town property.
Yes.
Were there any other substantial changes other than grammatical?
I have a,
That's good. Was there any other changes?
I believe I did add some of the conditions that are listed by number for either approval or denial.
All right, Barb, you had a comment.
yeah, I would like to see you add EMS to page 7, where you talk about police and fire. Sometimes EMS is separate than fire. So police, EMS, and fire. On page 7 in line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then down at the bottom, 3 before the bottom, where it says number of municipal police or fire EMS.
Fire
And then-
rescue.
Yeah.
Can we put-
Actually EMS, because that's medical.
All right, is that under, what section is it under?
Yes.
Yeah, 12.65.100 was the
Yes.
last section she was looking at.
Point
Number
100?
2.
Mhm.
Number 2.
And what, and the
She
other
wanted
one?
to add EMS.
Was
Yes.
up
Right.
above that, it was in the 5th line, where it says fire, police, fire, and EMS.
Oh, police and.
At the top of the page.
At the top of the
Fifth line.
page, line 4
Got
to
it.
5.
Okay, so it's two places, the
There's
EMS.
3.
uh,
There's 2 in the second line of line 2.
Go by section number, please.
You're still on 12.65.100.
Okay,
Oh, here.
12.65.090.
Okay.
On the second page, the 4th line down, where it's at the end of the sentence, special event, police and fire. I'd like it to
Okay.
be police, EMS, and fire.
Yep.
And then going down to 12.65.100, line 2, second line. Number of municipal police, EMS, or fire services, or to
Oh.
deny reasonable police, fire, or EMS
Got it.
services.
Okay.
All right, yes,
There's another spot too, I believe,
one other place.
earlier on. Just need to find it. Oh, I'm looking at 12.65.060 on the third page under 4. It ends with emergency medical service provider, so that was already included there.
Right above 12.65.070.
Just above zero.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes.
I
Okay.
had one question.
Shoot.
On under 12.65.050 regulations on the third page, it says to continue past the regularly posted park hours. What if it's in a different area? It's not in the park.
It's town property.
It's still,
So unless it was at a landfill,
That would be
Site.
it, right? That's what I
Right.
was wondering.
The
like,
town
it would
park
only
is
be
really
for
the only place.
The only place.
a
And-
special event could be held.
I mean, I
And
didn't know if,
the park closes at dusk. So.
okay, I just wasn't, I wanted to see what it was, how that was.
Now, if you don't like that it closes at park hours, because we also talk about illumination,
Right.
we can maybe change that language to say, unless permitted
as per
by the
permit.
town board.
See, wasn't that crazy of a
no, that was
question?
actually good. Because if you're mentioning lights.
Right.
You'd think that it could go later and then it'd be up to the board to approve it.
Well, that was one of my other questions too, with the illumination was, is the park illuminated or,
Not,
Not right now.
Right.
and I don't think the chief would let them happen anyway. Nowhere in here does,
We're
because
gonna have,
our current procedure is it comes in, the chief reviews it before it comes to town board.
Yes.
So he still needs to approve it before it comes here.
Okay. I know it says clerk in there, but it also says police and fire.
I don't
People
do
need to review
anything
it.
with these except accept them. I don't review them. The chief reviews them.
Well, the form itself, you
Yeah,
review the
this-
form.
No, not
You didn't look
currently.
at the form?
under,
I look to see if it's got the general, if it's signed.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's what it says.
That's
here.
your review.
right.
That's
Review
my
for
review.
completeness. Yes,
Yes.
that's stated.
That actually was another question I had, under the license fees.
Yep.
It says, the town board may waive the $25 filing fee of any applicant as long as prior notice is given to the town clerk. Why would we waive?
And
What if it was
currently,
If it was like
currently, we
a.
waive,
Girl Scouts and
we waive
Okay.
everybody, we waive everybody that's a town resident using our park. We
Okay.
waive the $25
Awesome,
fee.
that's all I
Should that
wanted.
not be in here?
What?
Well, no, what if
Well,
someone
it
wants to
is.
use our property that doesn't live in?
No, it is in
Then we
here that
charge
we
them
can
the
waive.
$25
Yeah,
fee.
that's
Right.
why I just wondered why it was.
Yeah.
Yep,
Right.
got it. Perfect.
But I waive it. You
I
don't
made
waive
a
it.
motion
To waive the second reading.
to waive the second reading of ordinance number 2024-9.
Second.
Barb Church, second. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carries.
I make a motion that we,
Can we have a little more discussion? Because
Oh.
there's problems here.
well, we didn't, we didn't discuss.
Yeah, you can discuss after
Okay.
motion second.
Can I make a motion to approve and then?
Well, yes. I thought you already made a motion to approve it.
No, I made a motion to waive the second.
All right, we voted on that and we're done. So now we need a motion before. we
I make a
start
motion that we approve ordinance number 2024-9 with the corrections and changes discussed.
this. All right.
Second.
Joe, second. Okay, now discussion.
60 days is ridiculous. We get the moms that come in here and want to have it 2 weeks from now. 60 days ahead of time is not going to happen.
Where's
You will
that-
never issue another permit.
Where's that?
If you
listed?
Right here,
expect it 60 days ahead of
12.65-060 application.
The reason that was put in there is because if at a special event, they want to have outside people attending other than the applicant, that we have names and enough information that a background check can be done.
Yeah, I mean, you can always,
Never done a background check for a special event permit.
if we.
Well, if we permit a carnival, you might want to.
Yeah, this is really set up for a big event, and it's true that if something comes in,
We're not
that's a
hosting
minor
the
deal.
RNC or the DNC.
No, that's what it does.
No.
You do background checks of the applicants? No?
See, I told you.
that works then.
Okay. No? And if
Well,
we did, we'd have
it
to charge.
also, I believe, the first, what is this paragraph here, darn it?
What section?
Basically states,
Title and purpose.
it's
Okay.
to such events upon premises not regularly used for or developed to regularly accommodate such events. So that kind of takes your mom coming in here to use the pavilion out of this, right? This is special. Isn't
We-
this for
we have many
special?
times that
events?
graduation parties, birthday parties, all that stuff. They do it as special events because they want to reserve the
But is that a
pavilion.
special event? Is that
Yes, it
considered
is.
a special
They
event?
reserve
It
the
is.
pavilion.
But they would know those dates more than 60
Okay.
days in advance.
Not necessarily.
You don't know when a graduation or a birthday is going to be?
Nope.
No, because you might be waiting to hear if family can come from out of town, things like that.
Oh, the date of their party.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that we leave that because that's in there for the big one that we maybe never see.
So the
We can
town
always turn
clerk,
it back.
the town clerk can waive the 60-day requirement.
Well,
Yeah.
It comes down.
I-
Time now.
The town board can waive it. Town clerk can't.
You can't.
See?
You-
We're never
because
gonna
you-
issue-
She wants to get it to the board,
No.
because if you gotta have the board approve it, then you get the application, the board's gotta approve the 60 days, then you gotta come back to.
Well, they have to approve it at a town board meeting anyway. That's only held once a
Man,
month.
There have been many times where we have a town board meeting. I have gotten it last Wednesday. It goes on the agenda.
As long as it's in
That's
time to get on the
That's
agenda, that's
96
fine.
days,
So then we're-
not 60.
Then,
long
yeah,
as
then
we
we'll
approve
waive
it.
it if it comes in, right? We have that option, right?
Right, so I
So
can
if it comes
add
before us.
language. What section was that in, Kim?
12.65.060.
Yeah,
Page 3.
paragraph 1, at least 60 days prior. Because otherwise, we're never going to.
Unless circumstances don't permit and it is approved by the town board.
Yes, precisely.
Is that it?
Yeah, insurance can be waived too.
I was gonna say, we've never.
For a kid's birthday party, I don't think we need
We haven't done it, right?
insurance coverage with $1 million.
The other thing that I passed a note to my friend Jean is, what about the railroad? That whole Halloween thing that they do in our park.
Okay.
That should require a special events permit.
Yes, it should.
Mhm.
And that kind of really should potentially. have
Include
insurance.
insurance.
Absolutely, because it should
Just
be the
because
railroad's
kids could be-
insurance.
Could fall down.
Well, it looks like we can't have it this year. It's not 60 days.
They haven't started selling tickets yet.
Let the railroad know.
September 16th.
No.
Who allowed it?
Who would cover
Who
the,
did the
who would?
railroad schedule that with?
Nobody, really.
They haven't reached out to me either.
No,
Did
have
you
no
do it?
idea.
Who would do the insurance? The railroad?
The
Railroad,
railroad.
yes.
And all they'd have to do is contact their insurance provider and say, on this particular date, we need to add the town of East Troy as an additional insured.
As insured, okay.
But
But
they haven't
this-
officially reached out in any way regarding the shop.
I haven't heard anything either.
So maybe,
But this won't go into effect until
Next month.
the next board meeting.
yeah.
There's too many changes. I'll have to make them and then come back.
But we should
And
probably,
we have to communicate it.
I was gonna say, maybe
Yes.
the park committee,
Publicize it.
since it's the park.
Yes.
But should we still have them take us out as an additional insured?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, do
Absolutely.
we do that every
For
year?
this year?
For this year, it
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
take
If they
that
pull a
long.
permit, they haven't,
It's just a phone call to their insurance.
We haven't
Yeah.
notified
Yeah.
them that we're implementing this. It's not official until.
well, in the
Right, but we
current
still need to
special
pull
growth
insurance. They
permit,
still need to have, we
they
need to
still
have.
need to give us insurance information.
Yes.
But
I
they
guess my-
haven't
The current
done it.
ordinance says they need to get a.
Well, they never even applied to use our town park on
Correct.
whatever day they're gonna be doing it.
Right, and they did.
So they need to submit an application too.
Last year they didn't either, but I think it was because it was kind of a joint venture. This year, I don't know how much the park committee or, you know what I mean? Because like you were part of it, Barb was part of it, Jen was part of it last year. That-
Only because I think we reached out to them.
No, we didn't. They reached out to Jen, I think.
Yeah. So I think it was kind of maybe considered a little bit more of a joint venture last year, whereas this year they haven't reached out at all, they haven't asked.
What my suggestion
To the
is,
best of our
someone on the park committee, contact the railroad, confirm the date, say, here's a new ordinance that the town board is considering. I know the timing runs close to the event, you know, would there be a hardship with you contacting your insurance provider? If they report yes, then when we approve this, we can have a separate motion exempting the railroad for this year for the insurance requirements of the new ordinance that we're going to pass.
I was planning to contact them this week anyway.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion here. And second, we had our discussion. Jim said there's quite a few changes here, but we've identified all the changes. We could still approve this, couldn't we?
You could, and I just have to get a clean draft to Kim.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, on the motion to approve ordinance 2024-9, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? None, motion carries. Okay. All right. That's it there. License and special event permits, any?
None.
Special and pending meetings. So, okay, November board meeting, you say we should change what, the elections, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And right now it's scheduled for the 11th and voting election day is the 5th.
Correct.
Okay, why would we change November then?
Because it's going to be crazy
Insane.
that whole week
Oh,
while we're trying to get agenda and everything ready for the meeting.
Right.
That's what we did in August.
so you want to go a
Yes.
week later?
To the
Yeah.
18th.
Well, that's probably good because I'm going to be in Colorado the 10th through the 16th. So
Well, there you go.
and if I don't come back, Barb's running the meeting.
She might
Barb
not
is
be here in
not.
November.
Maybe we'll cancel the meeting.
Barb cannot.
But you'll be back on the 18th, so
Yeah,
you
I-
wouldn't have to worry about that.
I should be.
So what's the date proposed?
So
change?
October 4th.
November, no, November we're talking
November
about.
November 18th.
18th.
Yes.
Yeah. I might be sleepy eyed, but
Okay.
I'll be here.
September 16th is the first budget workshop, but I think that's pushing it. I do not know how much information the chief, Todd, and I will have.
So
Next
I won't
Monday.
be here.
And
I'll be
Joe's
in
out of
Reno.
town.
when you're in Reno?
I'm in Reno on the 16th.
Oh.
Okay.
I leave
Okay.
Thursday.
Yeah.
All right.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
lived there for a
September-
while, so.
September 17th at 5 o'clock is the next ETA ESD meeting along with their budget workshop. September 18th is the next Booth Lake Park Board meeting. September 19th is the statutory deadline to mail absentee ballots for the general election. September 19th is the Tri-Torrey County meeting at the Cotton Exchange at 5:30. I have a thing to see who's all going to going to that.
Are we there?
I don't know yet.
I have it in my folder and I'll let you know.
Okay, have to RSVP by Friday, I believe. October 2nd and 16th are planning commission. October 9th, which was a Wednesday. I know it's not Ty's favorite, but that would be another budget workshop. If we don't have one on the 16th.
Well, we didn't do anything with the one on the 16th.
I don't know how you feel, chief, about it, but that would be pushing it for me. For the September 16th, which is next Monday,
Yeah.
having a budget workshop. How well do you feel you'll be prepared?
My budget's probably done right now. I have a couple of adjustments.
Okay. I mean, then he,
Goes to the grindstone as soon as you get that.
yeah, and we can go through what we have. I mean, at the first meeting, it's basically going through stuff. We're not gonna finalize any numbers. It's just informational. Okay? So maybe we should have the 16th and the 9th, and then the 21st will be the final to tie everything together. Okay.
Yes, September 16th, October 9th, October 21st.
Yep. Let's see, October 5th is the e-cycle event here at the town hall. October 14th is the next town board meeting. The 21st is the budget workshop. October 22nd through the 25th is in-person absentee to 8/4. And then the October 28th through November 1st, Gina and I discussed it in order to provide our residents with more hours for in-person absentee. We're working 8 to 6 that day, and she and I are gonna alternate coming in late in the morning or something.
If we can, it's gonna be busy.
It's gonna be insane. So, we've already probably got almost 300 that we have to mail out.
Did you say budget workshop on the 9th
Yes.
October 9th, yes,
and the 21st
yes,
and the 16th?
yes. Sorry.
We could put it
Will
on
the 16th maybe just be an hour if we don't have? a
Yes,
holiday
it
then?
should
won't
be
be as
short.
long.
It won't be a long one.
And then
And then you have the information to take with
5:30
you.
on the 9th,
Yeah.
5:30 on the 9th.
And I picked 5:30 because I thought that worked with your schedule, Michelle, for time for work.
Yeah, if I know ahead of time, I'll make.
That's
it
a
work.
Wednesday
I'm sorry.
at 5:30, you say?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Golfing still going?
Well, we start our indoor league. I mean,
Indoor?
yeah, sure.
I never heard of that.
Yep, right here in East Troy.
Really? Okay. All right, so that's all the meetings, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, does Michelle, do you have a park committee meeting?
Did you guys set a new one from
We
tonight?
set it for.
November.
November, no.
Hang on, I got it here. I got my meeting minutes.
The 4th.
Yeah.
Not in here.
Right, that's what we
Oh.
said. We'll be in the hallway or something. Yeah,
Or
Courtroom,
yeah, either
that's
one.
the only place you can really be.
what
Yeah.
else?
We've used the hallway
The
before.
hallway's gonna be full,
Okay,
it's election.
right,
Well,
that's fine.
the 4th is the
Oh,
Monday
We just
before.
need to let you know
Okay.
where it's gonna be,
Okay.
right?
No,
So-
November 4th,
Okay.
November 4th.
What
Yeah.
time, Michelle?
5:30.
Yeah, you'll have to be in the courtroom.
What if we wanna do it somewhere else?
It has to be a public space that can be noticed to the public, that's open to the public. So if you want it at your house,
We'll let you
Ty, you're gonna have to open the door.
Yeah, I was thinking Al's or.
Has to be in the town.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Cause
Oxide.
Doc's
Outside.
Well, there's only one
Outside.
place in the town we can go, right?
That's it.
Okay.
All right, that's it for that, so we're gonna have to go to our closed session here.
We have new board.
All right, we need a motion to adjourn to closed session. per number 14. Somebody want to?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn to closed session.
Pursuant.
Pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute 19.85 sub 1 sub C for the purpose of personnel discussion.
Please.
Damn, that's impressive.
Okay.
The
Second.
officer did.
Ty second.
Ty second, roll call vote, Markowski, aye.
What do we vote?
We vote to go.
Leonard, aye.
Reyes, aye.
Church, aye.
John or I?
All right, we're now in closed session, so.
Okay, and?
Are you